This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good night, Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel, and thank you for tuning in. And in the news tonight, a policeman back on the job after 19 years. Police Constable Lessine Edwards, who has been off the job for 19 years, returned to work last month following his murder acquittal in April by the United Kingdom Privy Council, which is Jamaica's final court. "I am feeling very good to be back on the job, but it cannot suffice the long suffering I went through all those years," Edwards said this week. However, Edwards has pledged to do his very best to serve his country. Edwards, 53, who is being represented by King's Counsel Valerie Nita Robertson, is looking forward to compensation from the government for the ordeal he went through. In freeing Edwards, the Privy Council recommended that the Jamaican authorities compensate him for constitutional breaches and for the miscarriage of justice that was done. The government was criticized by the Privy Council for its lack of resources to provide expert evidence for accused persons and the breaches of the Constitution in relation to trial within a reasonable time. Edwards' trial took place 10 years after he was charged. The Privy Council found that there was no challenge to Nita Robertson's statement that independent forensics experts, whether on ballistics, GESR, which is gunshot residue, blood splatter, or handwriting, are not available in Jamaica. Edwards was convicted in 2013 for the murder of 23-year-old Aldona Harris, who was the mother of his twin girls. Her body was found with a suicide note beside it at her home in Pembroke Hall, St. Andrew in September 2003. She was fatally shot 4 weeks after she got married to a man who lived abroad. Harris and Edwards were involved in a relationship for 4 years, and they continued the relationship after the marriage. Edwards said in his defense that he was sleeping when he heard an explosion and saw Harris with a firearm in her lap. He was convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment and ordered to serve 35 years before he could be eligible for parole. The Court of Appeal reduced the sentence to 20 years before parole. Fresh evidence before the Privy Council from scientific experts showed that Harris was seated on the bathroom floor with her back against the closed door, and there was no satisfactory explanation regarding how Edwards would have been able to murder the deceased in that confined space. The Privy Council ruled that based on the fresh evidence, the conviction was plainly unsafe. Chinese wholesaler ordered to pay $60,000 for throwing water in employees' face. A Chinese wholesaler was on Tuesday ordered to pay $60,000 in restitution after she pleaded guilty to throwing water in one of her employees' face. The accused told the senior parish judge at the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court, Lorian Cole Montague, that she did not throw a cup of water as it was reported. She insisted that it was only a little bit of water. The allegations are that on October 10, the complainant was dealing with a customer and asked Zhao for the price of the item the customer had requested. The court was told that Zhao started to yell at the complainant, which started an argument between the two, resulting in the accused throwing a cup of water in her face. She was later arrested and charged with the offense of common assault. When the judge asked Zhao if she understood the allegations brought against her, she responded that she did not, which then prompted an attorney to offer his counsel pro bono to the accused. However, there seemed to still be an issue with the accused understanding what was being said, leading Cole Montague to propose speaking in Jamaican Creole, as according to the judge, they understand the patois better than the English. "Miss Zhao, them say you dash water pan her. You dash water pan her?" Cole Montague asked. "Ongla little bit, Mitro," Zhao finally answered. "I am satisfied that she understands the nature of the charge," Cole Montague responded, then added, "All right, you shouldn't do that, you know that." Speaking up, the complainant indicated that Zhao had been abusive in the past. She said, "The woman threw a buckle at me and swelled up my foot." It was then decided that Zhao would be required to pay restitution to the complainant. However, hearing this, the accused said she was only prepared to pay $5,000. The complainant said she would settle for $90,000 because she was humiliated in front of the customer. She also added that she resigned 2 weeks ago and still has not gotten paid. That's offensive. Somebody throws water at somebody, and this is a woman of sufficient means, and she's telling the court that she is not prepared to pay more than $5,000? The judge then instructed the court police officers to take Zhao to the holding area. Take her downstairs, that's very offensive. She admitted to throwing water in the woman's face, her employee, and she's going to tell me no more than $5,000, Cole Montague said. Turning to the complainant, she said, "What you say, you left the work 2 weeks now and no get no pay yet? Don't worry, Miss won't deal with her." When Zhao was taken back into the courtroom almost 2 hours later, the judge informed her that since she has pleaded guilty to the offense, she is empowered to make an order for compensation to be made. "You have no money to pay the lady?" Cole Montague asked. "Me no wrong, and me no pay," Zhao answered. This seemed to infuriate the judge, who reminded her that she told her she indeed threw water in the complainant's face, albeit not the amount that the prosecutor had indicated. But Zhao insisted, saying, "No man, me no fling no water in her face." No, I know that you tell me, and the full courtroom did in here when you did tell me so," Cole Montague responded. This resulted in the accused attempting to convince the judge that she did not admit to throwing the water in the complainant's face for approximately 5 minutes, with Zhao even shouting a number of times. Looking as if she has grown tired of Zhao's antics, Cole Montague informed her that she is ordering her to pay $60,000 in restitution by Thursday, or else she will be remanded. 81-year-old landlord charged for assaulting tenant and a child. An 81-year-old landlord was charged with 2 counts of assault occasioning actual bodily harm after he allegedly used a machete to cut his tenant on the head and then attacked the man's 12-year-old child. The accused, Thomas Buckner, pleaded not guilty to the charges when he appeared in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Tuesday. The allegations are that on September 14, Buckner barred the complainant from entering the premises because he claimed the man owed rent. Buckner, the court was told, retrieved the machete and used it to hit the complainant on the right side of his head. In relation to the other count of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, it was revealed that on November 8, the child arrived home from school when he was attacked by Buckner, which resulted in him sustaining an injury to his right leg. The extent of this injury was not disclosed in court. Responding to his not guilty plea, Senior Parish Judge Lauren Cole Montague asked Buckner if he did anything to them, to which he answered, "I set them a try set me up." The adult complainant explained to the judge that they had since moved from the premises. However, given that the father and the son still live in the community, he explained that Buckner is still harassing his child. "Your Honor, don't listen to this man," the father began, then added that from the very first day he moved in, he was harassed by Buckner. "Your Honor, him still seeing my child and showing him middle finger up to yesterday, Monday, November 21. He must show my child middle finger. He might be old, but he's a very dangerous man," he told the judge. "I never thought I would have to say this to an 81-year-old man, but don't show the child no middle finger," Cole Montague said. The man noted that when he went to the hospital after he was allegedly wounded by Buckner, when he told the doctor what caused his injuries, he claimed that the doctor was not shocked that Buckner was the culprit. "He's a nuisance to the community," the man said. The matter was referred to restorative justice, where they would be able to air their grievances in front of a trained impartial mediator. Additionally, the matter was set to be mentioned again on January 18, 2023. 4 cops implicated in Ronco gang remanded. 4 members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, who are said to be members of the Clarendon-based Ronco gang, were today remanded when they appeared in the Home Circuit Court. Constable Tafari Silvera, the alleged leader of the gang, and the constables Daniela Barnes, Roger Morrison, and Tenille Francis will remain in custody until February 2, 2023. The lone female accused, Jacette Brown, as well as Tevin Henriquez, David Henry, Ovelgo Mackenzie, and Nicholas Simpson were also remanded. The Ronco gang has been linked to shootings, robberies, and abductions in 7 parishes over the period of 2019 to 2021. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.